I hope y'all enjoyed the first part of this series, and I had to stop at a high note. Here's the second part. It's going to definitely enlighten you. But before you start, subscribe, like, and share the content. You know there's always an artist around you that needs this. Let's get to it. An art gallery that will approach you, and they are absolutely a fan of your work. Oh my God, your work is so beautiful, it's so unique, it's so this and that, and just they are praising it all the way into the stars and the heavens above, which is never a bad thing. I like compliments. I don't know about you, but I like compliments. But compliments really don't move me when they are disingenuous. And in this particular case, what they are banking on, these type of art gallery scammers, again, not all art galleries are scammers, not all art advisors are scammers, not all art publications are a scam, not all art magazines are a scam. Absolutely not. And I say that in the beginning as well. It's really important to have a discerning eye and a discerning mind. They cannot be put under all one heading. Please don't generalize them all. These are very specific situations that I'm talking about. So this particular situation resembled something that happened pre-pandemic. I was approached by a Spanish art gallery. It had a physical location. I could Google it. I could Google also see it online, and they were an absolute fan of my work. Now, the sad part about it is I don't remember the name. Because if I remember the name, I would Google them and probably I could find something somewhere and also show it here in the video. But unfortunately, I don't have that information anymore. But that's besides the point. The story stays the same. And what they offered me was to do an exhibition of my work in their art gallery. I would have to send my work to Spain. They would exhibit it. There would be buyers, and there was a great possibility for me to sell my work. And from that, they will send the work safely back to me. Now, I'm already, I'm protective over my babies. All right, I'm very protective over my babies. I don't play about them. But what alarmed me and what made me dig deeper into it is the fact that the expenses that need to be made to send these artworks to the art gallery, they were not willing to cover that. Huge red flag. Any art gallery that wants to work with you is willing to make that investment in you. And that is also the reason why art galleries are very particular on who they want to work with. They will vet you. They will turn you inside out, and then they will make the investment into you because they know that your art can be offered to a particular market that they are serving. So that's the first red flag that I had, but it was not really a strong red flag. But I found it very peculiar because I was like, well, you're the one who wants to have my work in your gallery, so why don't you want to pay for for the expenses? I don't understand. Another red flag that I had is their email. I know. It's weird, right? Why would I say their email? Here's the reason why. From the beginning, when I started, my business, my art business, and also a previous business that I had, I always learned that someone should have a business email address in order to do that business. Administrative wise, accounting wise, it's just better to have a separate business address. It also shows that somebody is investing into the company, and more so, they are paying taxes, they're doing an administration, they are having a legit business. Now, this particular business, this particular art gallery, was sending from their Gmail account. I was like, well, baby, this is a general assistant and she's using her personal account to contact me. It shouldn't be a really big problem. But when I did some investigations, no, this was their business account. Their business account was a Gmail account, a personal Gmail account. And what I also started to do is go on the internet and Google the name. And the stories that came out of it were very ambiguous. So my intuition was already on orange. Baby, she went all the way to red. Okay? She went all the way to red. And I made the decision to say, I'm sorry, I will not be joining, this exhibition that you're talking about. First of all, you not wanting to pay for the expenses to have the artwork to be sent to you and also send it back. That's dodgy to me. And all the stories that I was reading, please. I know people say, why don't you give it the benefit of the doubt? I am already doubting it. So why am I giving it benefit? That don't make no sense to me. I already told you I'm a sarcastic person. So no, I'm not giving the benefit of the doubt. I decided to annul it, to cancel it. And I was like, yeah, thank you for your offer, but I'm not going to do it. But the funny part about it was they were very persistent in reeling me back in. Oh, no, what is the problem? We're going to help you. And whatever the problem is, we can. I was like, well, you're not taking no for an answer really easily now, are you? You must really want me. No. I do have to make a disclaimer here before I explain why I say no. So stern. They haven't scammed me out of anything yet. I could not really explicitly see the process of scamming, but like I already said, my intuition was already telling me don't do this. I say no because the stories that I read were of people that would send their work, and when they would receive their work, the work was damaged, not properly packaged, or work was being sold, but funds were not transferred properly. I already told you in the beginning of the video, I will dropkick you to the next universe, to the next dimension. If you play with my money, you will not be playing with my money. I will kick you like Bruce Lee. All right? I will do that. So those were very alarming things. Those were very, very alarming pointers, which make me say, better safe than sorry. So let's go to the next example that happened not too long ago. And it was very similar to the one that I went through pre-pandemic. And it had this almost the same flavor. It had the same taste. And that's why it is so important to see this one. Let's have a look at it. Another thing that didn't make sense to me is that they wanted me to be part of this exhibition and they were really pressuring me in the whole conversation, this WhatsApp conversation. Please pause if you want to read it. That is another red flag. Art galleries will vet you. They will turn you inside out. Why is this flyer art gallery so eager to work with me, not knowing what my art practice is about, not knowing who I am? I could be a scammer as well. I could be a dangerous person to work with as well. They didn't ask me anything about my pricing, my art practice, none of those things, as if that did not matter. And that is a huge red flag, people. Pay attention to it. If they don't ask you anything about your artistry, what is it then that they want from you? So when I started to talk about, listen, for me to be part of this exhibition, you need to pay for the expenses of my work, right? The first question that I asked actually in the WhatsApp conversation, as you could have read, is, well, do you really have customers? Because I would like to know if there are really buyers, art collectors that really would, be interested in my work. Oh, yes. Like I already said, they will always say it, everything is possible. But the moment that I started to talk about my handling and, shipping costs, oh, there's where the conversation started to go left. because they did not have the money to do it. They did not want to do it. No, sorry, we're not interested. Be well, be safe. Godspeed. And that is how I caught them. An art gallery that wants to work with you has no problem handling it because they know they have an audience they can sell it to. They do. You, as an artist, should not be stressed on this particular factor when it comes to your artworks. Now, there might be some art galleries that say, well, listen, if you want to ship it to us and we sell something, we can, subtract one of the other. Depends on how certain conditions are set up. Please check it if you are in that particular space. But their intention is to sell your work, get the funds, and you will never hear from them again. Again, I went online and it's not hard. Just type in flyer art gallery and the stories that come up, they will blow your wig all the way to the back. People that have sent their artworks over there. Artworks have been sold. They are going after the money. And this particular person who is the owner of the gallery doesn't respond anymore. Right? They're not getting their money back. They're not getting the funds. The thing that they worked so hard for. Yeah? And I really want you to pay attention to the questions that I ask. Be direct. Be straight. Just straightforward. Be direct. Here's another thing that I find very interesting about artists, and that is we are afraid to ask the hard questions. Ask the hard questions. Do you want to be in a hard situation? Or do you want to ask the hard questions up front to make sure that you do not get in that hard position, in that difficult position? I'd rather go with the first one. All right? Red flags everywhere in this particular case. I blocked them, I deleted them, and they are not part of my platform anymore. All right, my creatives and artists. So here you have two great examples of how they work. And trust and believe, there are a lot of people that say, well, that's obvious. That you will be surprised. You will be surprised how many people get scammed out of their pockets. And definitely also by parties that show themselves to be legit businesses, that are basically an art gallery or an art institution or an art advisor or art publication. They are. And still get scammed or put in a disadvantageous situation for the artist. And there are some pointers that I talked about in the beginning of the video that I want to discuss, that I would discuss now, right? Alarming pointers, red flags, people. That's what I was looking for. That's the wording that I was looking for. Red flags. All right? They are not only to be found in the dating scene, they are also to be found each and every single part of the world, and also in the art market and in the art world. All right? But before I get to that point, right, I do want to have a conversation with you, artists and creatives. I do want to have a conversation with you all, because here's where it gets serious and alarming for me when it comes to the artists and creatives that make decisions to put their money into sending their works to these parties or paying for a publication, which in itself is not wrong, but you do have to take it with a grain of salt. Right? If you are being approached by someone and they ask you to do an interview, you ain't got to pay for that interview. You don't. And if you do pay for the interview, please ask yourself, what is it that you're getting back for it? If it's just your photo and a text, why are you paying for this? They are approaching you, okay? So that's just to emphasize that we as creatives and artists, when it comes to making decisions on where we want to find ourselves, when it comes to exposure, marketing, publicizing, representation, when it comes to those areas of the art world, please have discernment and ask the questions. Be direct. Don't be afraid to be seen as someone who is difficult. I want an art gallery to believe that I am difficult. I am kind, I am friendly, but when it comes to my work, I'm about the business and I will be difficult if it's not done properly. Point blank, period. Do not be naive. Step out of your naivety. Miracles happen each and every single day. I believe in them. And at the same time, I also believe in being the best representative. And if I let somebody else represent me in a certain way, you better represent me the way that I do it, or even better. There is no other option. So I want y'all to be the best advocate that you can be for yourself, right? I don't want you to fall into the trap where you believe that you have to spend money in order to get money. In certain occasions, yes, but when it comes to this, it's a hell no. It's a upward hell no. All right? And as you're going upward and you're going downhill, you still see the no. No to the no, 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 no. Hell no. All right? So that is my message to you all. I can, of course, not speak for you. I don't know if you're more timid person or you're an introverted person or you just do not have to know how. Maybe I need to make another video about that. But I do want you to very much be clear that you do have the responsibility to vet people that approach you. They do it with an intention, a goal. Figure out as easy and early what that goal and or intention is. All right? So ask the difficult questions. Please don't be lazy. Ask the difficult questions. All right? So let's go to the pointers, the alarming pointers, the red flags. What are the red flags when it comes to these scammers? Now, I showed you two, but there are different types of scams. And I also mentioned the scams throughout the video. Right? They are people that want to scam with publications. They ask you to pay for an article. We see that a lot, right? We see a magazine presenting itself to be a very prestigious magazine, being a lot of art galleries that people can read it, or very specific niche that they operate in, and they ask you to put in money. Well, let's say 35, 20, 50, I don't know how much that fee can be in order for you to be in it. And they still have to see if you're being picked. It's a non-refundable fund. You also have, what do you call them? Contests, right? Open calls, and you have to pay for each and every single artwork that you are sending to them. Or the first 3 are free, or up to 5 you can, and then you have to pay for each and every single artwork that you want to apply yourself for the contest for, or for the open call, or for the exhibition. Yes, I said you have to pay for services. Don't expect everything to be for free. But have a discerning eye. A lot of scammers do this as well. They use these type of platforms so that they can collect money. A lot of times when you enter into these contests, you are paying the prize fee for the person who's winning through this way. It's like lottery. Everybody's paying a pit ticket and only one person gets the money. I really want you to pay attention to those things. So if it sounds too good to be true, that was the first red flag that I talked about, is too good to be true. The second red flag that I talked about, there needs to be an investment, which I just described with a couple of examples. There needs to be a certain investment in order for you to get something out of it. Ask yourself, is it worth it? And ask yourself, is it necessary? Contact them. Why do you need me to pay for that? Right? Why do I need to pay a fee for this? And ask yourself, is it worth it? The third red flag is they target a certain audience. Artists are a pretty fragile audience. Why? It is tough to get yourself out there and to be seen and make a full, steady, full-fledged living from what it is that you do. Okay, let's just say the things that they as they are. It's not for everyone. You gotta have tough skin and really persistence and be tenacious in order for you to get what it is that you would like to see and consider yourself to be successful in when it comes to a professional artistic career. So it's not for everybody. But there are, of course, a lot of artists that do want to take that chance and are working hard to do that. And that makes you vulnerable because the dream to make it is the carrot that's being dangled in front of the mule's face. All right? And please don't take it in a bad way, but you're the mule. And the carrot is the dream that they are selling you. It's what they are dangling in front of your face. They know you want it really badly. Our world is cute. There are more artists than there are art galleries. And there are more prestigious art galleries that definitely have that select few that can live off it and just, do nothing but create art. So the art world is skewed. We already know that it is an art world that's only from the, if you look at it for the elite and the few and the rich people, and you have to find a great way for yourself to create your own market, find your market, and find the people that love your work. So you are a very fragile target. You have a target on your back. They want the money in your pocket, because they know as much as you want to dream, you're also willing to invest into it. See how that ties back into the second red flag where I talked about that people have to do an investment, which your willingness for that is something that they are banking on. Another red flag is their eagerness to work with you. They will not take no for an answer. They just like everything that you do. They go on your Facebook, they go on your Instagram, they go on any social media that you have. The one that I showed lastly went all the way to my business WhatsApp account, which is of course open to be approached. You definitely can send me an app. But I found it very interesting how the conversation went from my DMs to my WhatsApp, and they were just persistent. They would even respond late at night. And I'm like, ain't nobody working in the gallery late at night like this. Maybe they are, but you're not trying to get me as a customer late at night. That is a red flag. The eagerness, almost slight, soft, subtle pressure. You can't say no, right? And some will even go as far as, if you don't take the opportunity, then somebody else will, right? Somebody else will. The eagerness to have you on board, which leads me to the next red flag. And that is, they are absolutely not interested in who you are. They are not. The goal is to make money. There's nothing wrong with making money. Art galleries, art advisors, art publications, all of those are related to the art world. Their goal is to make money. If you're a business, if you had economics class, the first goal, purpose of a business is to create and make earnings, to make money. Don't ever let that slide, all right? The second thing is, of course, your art. Your artwork. Who are you as an artist? Your art needs to be seen. People need to get into it. And those who really are in it to help you will do so. They will go the extra mile. But for that, they will vet you inside out. So when you're dealing with a customer or an art publication or an art gallery, and they, the only thing they know about you is your name, that is like the dude that's trying to get to to the hot girl and really is not interested in her personality at all. He just wants to sleep with her. That's the way that you can look at it. They just want to take your money. Okay, they want to F around. They want to F around. Don't let them. Don't let them do it. So that is also a huge red flag. Another huge red flag, and I mentioned that in the previous video, and I really want to pay attention to that as well. Any business that does not communicate with you from a business email account is a red flag. I don't care what other people have to say. To me, that is a huge red flag. I do not want to talk to you personally if you're a business. I don't want to have anything from your personal account. Because if the ish hits the fan and I have to come to you and talk about the fact that you are doing something dodgy, you could retract from that. Because I did not do any conversations or business with your business. I did it with you personally. I want to communicate from a business account. If you are a business, you want to work with me, or any other party that wants to work with me, please contact me via my business email account. Point blank, period. I don't want to hear it. That is what I want to see, a business email account. Now, I know a lot of you all is, well, not everybody can afford it. Start investing into it. Start investing into it. Now, the last red flag that I'm going to share with you all is, of course, the presentation of a party, organization, or business that you're working with. Now, not every organization, business, or party has a physical location. I understand that. Some of them are just online, right? I have an online web store. But now I have the possibility for people to also come by in the Coral Art Gallery. All right, now. They can also go over there. But not everybody has a physical location. So that should not have to be a red flag. But what is a red flag is when people do not do the research online. There's so much that you can find online. There's so much that you can find online. There are so many forums, so many blogs. Fill in the name and see if there are any stories coming up of people that had bad experiences with art galleries, art advisors, art consultants, art groups, art fill in the blank. Fill in their names. What did Monique say? Say their names. And if not, keep it on the playground. Okay? That's what Monique said. All right? Say their names. If not, keep it on the playground. Go and Google them if your intuition is telling you, if your senses are tingling, like Spider-Man, and you're like, I really don't trust this. I need to know if it's for real. Go online, Google their asses. And if you get the stories and you're like, well, listen, that's enough for me to say a no, then that should be it. That should be it. That definitely should be it. Now, I have enough red flags that I could talk about more, but this is already a two-part video. This is already a two-part piece of content. This is part 2 that y'all are looking at right now, because there were so many things that I wanted to talk about, and I really wanted to take my time to show you all what's happening, to share with you my experiences, so that you get the ins and outs of it that are really important. You know, they're crucial. They're crucial because, like I already said, don't let people play with your money. Don't let people play with your time. All right? Don't let people play with your time. So we're coming to the end of the video, and I definitely know this is going to help someone who was already in the process of working with an art gallery, or was approached by one, or any other type of art institution, party, or fill in the blank that wants to work with them. I'm going to end with this. In the world that we're living right now in, exposure is one of the things that is huge. It can literally lift you up from being completely in the abyss to being the superstar, the next superstar, online and in real life. So it is important to have exposure, and also understand that in order to get the right exposure, you do have to sometimes make your investments. But use your discernment, all right? Do not put your intuition to the left, your common sense or your excellent sense to the right, to fall face forward into some nonsense. Don't do that, because then you are being led with your naivety and just your eagerness to want to be the next one. Just as eager as these parties are to get your money, artists can also be too eager to want to be the next one, right? To want to be the next one in line. Please be mindful of that and check yourself for that as well, right? Have an honest moment with yourself, have a reflective moment with yourself. Why am I doing this? And is this from a place where I'm doing it for so long that now I have an opportunity to shine? Because that could also be the case. Or you're just impatient and you want to shine right, you want to have it right now. A lot of things come with delayed gratification. All right? Delayed gratification is the best one. Carving out your own lane, your own route is still the best one. Do not be fooled by the way that people are getting their fame, their exposure, their stardom. You don't know what they had to do to get that. And you definitely don't know what mistakes they made along the way, because they don't talk about that. Some might be too embarrassing to talk about. They show the pretty stuff. We're just here oohing and eyeing over that. But we don't get to hear the tough parts. We don't get to hear that. And that's why I'm here, to remind you that's real out there, real in the street. But it's awesome. Hey, listen, I'm getting at the end of the video, and I hope that you enjoyed everything that I talked about. And maybe you have some situations that you came across, and I would love to read them, right? Put them here in the comment section. If you have questions about that, put them here in the comment section. If you want to see a follow-up video on it, like what are other things that I need to be on the lookout for? Listen, the comment section is your holy grail. It's going to be your safe space where you can talk about this respectfully, of course, and I will have a look at it. Do not be led by shame. So if there is a story that you definitely want to warn others about, teach one each one, right? We can all help each other to get to a point where we have great discernment, excellent sense, and above par stellar execution, because that is something that I'm going for. Do not end this video without, subscribing to it, like it. Remember to go to my social media handles and follow me over there as well. Courses and online courses are coming up very soon for the Coral Art Space, so please follow the link in the link tree. And there you can sign up. Yes, it's so, yeah, indeed. There will be online and offline courses. And I want you to join, because there's a lot that I have to share when it comes to my information, and there's a lot that you can learn from it as well. So definitely join in. I would love to see you in one of those courses that will be offered, coming from starting end of February, which where we already are, but end of February and end of February. What's going on? My mouth getting stuck? Gee. Like I already said, end of February. There will be the start of offline and online courses. So I expect to see y'all there. All right? I expect to see y'all there. Okay. Stay safe. Stay good. Keep on working. Keep on producing. I'll see y'all next time in the next video. Bye, y'all. Back here in the studio, and I got some items out of my store, some artsy goodies. Now in my art shop, I have the original art prints and also some artsy goodies. That's how I like to call them, artsy goodies. And these are actually items that you can use in your everyday life. These are notebooks, t-shirts, stationery, etc., accessories, great things that you can use. So here I ordered 2 samples. One is a tote bag and the other one is a notebook. I love the tote bag. I've been using it now a couple of times, and I absolutely love the tote bag. She is tantalizing. Okay, so if you got a weak heart, this is not for you. But I do have different designs from my artworks on tote bags, so you can definitely choose another one if this is a little bit spicy for you. Not everybody can handle it. And the other one is a notebook. It's like a pretty standard notebook, but I just love the vibrancy of the notebook is such a stand out. So, for those who want to know how to get my art, and maybe you're looking for something else that might be in your budget, in your price region, these two items are definitely worthwhile to take. So, go over to the website and get you some